Tom DeLonge is God.
Okay, all right. I mean, I'm willing to get behind that. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and well, that's pretty much it. So let's go.
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different album from a different artist and we break it down. We find out all the secrets that nobody else knows except for us, and we let everyone else know because we're the keeper and the teller of secrets. I don't know what I'm getting on about. My name is Tyler. Way out there, hundreds of miles away, way out there in the ether. It's Jeff. Go to Apple Podcasts, go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. Oh boy. Oh boy. So what are we doing today, Jeff? What album are we doing? By who?
Oh, we're doing MIA and her album Kala.
If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day. I get one down in a second if you wait. I fly like paper, get high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day. I get one down in a second if you wait. Sometimes I think sitting on trains. Every step I get to, I'm clocking that game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our fame. Bonafide hustler, making my name. Sometimes I think sitting on trains. Every step I get to, I'm clocking that game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our fame. Bonafide hustler, making my name. All I wanna do is take your money. 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 Pirates, skulls and bones, sticks and stones and weed and bombs. Running when we hit 'em. Lethal poison for the system. Pirates, skulls and bones, sticks and stones and weed and bombs. Running when we hit 'em. Lethal poison for the system. No one on the corner has swagger like us. Hit me on my banner, prepaid wireless. We pack and deliver like UPS trucks. Already going hell, just pumping that gas. No one on the corner has swagger like us. Hit me on my banner, prepaid wireless. We pack and deliver like UPS trucks. Already going hell, just pumping that gas.
MIA, whose real name is
Here we go.
Mathangi Arul Pragasm. I was trying really hard prior to this to try to pronounce it, but then you fucked me up. She began her career in the year 2000 as an artist, and then her musical career in 2002. To date, she's put out 5 full-length records, 2 EPs, and 2 mixtapes. But the album we're doing today is Kala. It's her second album, and it was released August 8th, 2007. It remains her most popular album to date, selling over 1 million copies worldwide. Now, Jeff, what is your origin story with MIA and your initial thoughts on this record? What do you got? Go.
Oh, well, I'm
Interesting, right?
I'm saying that like I'm going to make fun of you, but you asked me a question and I'm going to answer.
Okay.
But
So I don't know why you're still talking about that, but okay.
Okay, well, you're talking too. That's fine. That's my turn to
This is
talk.
fun.
So it's
I'm
my turn to
having a
talk.
good-
You
I'm
actually
having-
stop
I'm having
talking.
a good time, I guess, right?
Okay, well, we're just talking over each other now, but that's okay. So my origin story with MIA is Galang. Her song Galang, Purple Haze, Galang, 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 and then other stuff. However the lyrics go, I don't know. But that was that one came out before her first album came out. I don't know if you remember, but like that was like sophomore, junior year for us.
Okay.
And I didn't go to a lot of dances at Esperanza at our high school. Should we say our where we're from?
Yeah, just
people
fuck,
can
who cares?
triangulate.
Anaheim,
our-
California, baby.
Oh my
Anaheim, California. I'll give you my exact address. Then you get some death threats. You know.
Okay, well that's probably not a good idea.
Whatever.
But
It
yeah,
is what
that
it
was
is, right?
that was my first thought. Best thought was Galang. That was
I hate
so
it.
going to like the YMCA and for camp kids or whatever. We'd have like events, parties that would be to like raise awareness for going to camp. So like parents would bring their kids to these quote unquote dances, and it would just be like us over at the Anaheim Plaza over by the old Crescent Pits off of like the 5 in Euclid. And we used to host these parties, and it'd be dances well lit and just playing a lot of like stupid music and stuff. And we'd introduce ourselves to the parents, like, hey, I'm the counselor, whatever. But then after it was over was when like we'd all go to somebody's house, and then everybody get really underage drunk and then dance and stuff and hang out and whatever. But like I remember 2 songs from this era, and it didn't come out at the same time as Galang did, but like Shaggy's It Wasn't Me, and then Galang was the other one that both of these songs really stand out to me as being like those after party. And the guy's name was Blake. The guy's house we always went to, his name was Blake. Blake's house, like Galang and fucking Shaggy's It Wasn't Me. So that was my first introduction to MIA was Galang. And then come around senior year when Paper fuck man.
Paper Planes?
Pod Talk, it's at 8% hop stupid, making me stupid with 2 O's. When Paper Planes hit, like I'll be damned if us and our crew and everybody in the world weren't like pointing our finger guns during the chorus of that fucking song.
Yeah, I mean,
like-
you couldn't help but do that.
It's so good. But it wasn't until even like after that did I find out that it's the same girl that did Galang. And so I didn't listen to any of her albums in their entirety until way later. We're talking like actually probably until her last album dropped, because she was doing the thing with Skrillex, and I was interested, and I was like, oh, that's the same fucking girl that did Paper Planes. And then I was like, oh shit, that's the same girl that did Galang. And so that's when I finally listened to Kala. So I didn't listen to Kala in its entirety until like 2016. Way late.
Yeah, it's
and
very
unfortunately missed out on all those years of that. But I will say like Paper Planes is a complete outlier to the album. But
Yeah.
but
The
that's
last 2 songs really are outliers.
that's my origin story, I guess.
All right. Okay. So my origin story real quick. The first thing I ever heard from her was Bucky Dungun. I hated it. I really hated it. I was probably junior year of high school, maybe. And it was on MTV2. They played it a lot on MTV2. I used to watch a lot of that because they played a lot of good videos too. And then every time this came on, I would watch like half of it and just think like, this is just trash. Like it was just one of those songs that I did not get. Even at the time, like I appreciated pop music, even though like I was like a full blown metal punk guy, I still could appreciate like NSYNC and like a lot of pop music at the time, you know? But this, I didn't get. I just could not get into it, and I thought it was just trash music. And I mean, I cannot tell you how much I hated this song. But you know, as the years have gone on, I've learned to appreciate broader styles of music, and I think it's a pretty good song now. But yeah, back in the day, I fucking hated it. And I remember when Paper Planes came out, I didn't like it at first, based solely off of the Bucky Dungun. Like I didn't like Paper Planes because of it.
Makes sense.
And then I realized, okay, this is kind of silly and stupid. Paper Planes is actually a really good song. So yeah, but Bucky Dungun, man, I fucking hated it. It was so stupid. It's such a dumb song, and it's crazy to think at the time too, what she was doing was so different. I mean, nobody sounded like MIA. Even up through this album, Kala, like there was nothing that sounds like her. These first 2 records are so unique and so they just you can only identify the style of music with her. So, I mean, it's great. That's my origin story, and I've never listened to Kala, and up until this week, honestly, I've never listened to Kala. I've never listened to any of her records in its entirety. The only songs I've ever heard were Paper Planes and Bucky Dungan.
You heard Delang though.
No, I don't think. No, I haven't.
The Purple Haze. That song.
No,
you
I
didn't?
haven't.
You've never.
No,
Get the fuck
never
out
heard
of
it.
here.
If I have, I don't. I have no recollection.
What?
Of it. Yeah, nothing. I like I said, there's only those two songs that I remember. Yeah. So this week was it was a lot. It was a lot of new music for me, which is cool. It was a lot of it was good. Some of it was meh, okay, but a lot of it was fantastic, really fantastic. Especially off this record. This is my favorite record of hers. So, what are your kind of initial thoughts on this one?
I mean, coming into this week, I've already heard this album, and I bought on the vinyls, and I don't know. I like everything about her. I like her style. I like her blending of hip hop with like electro music. Mm-hmm. I think she doesn't dive into the deep end on either genre. She kind of stays in the safe zone for both of them, which is why I think it works so well. And then being somebody who doesn't listen to like a lot of, I mean, I'm going to throw out all of these naive words out here the entire time we're talking about this, but being somebody who doesn't listen to like a lot of Sri Lankan music or Indian music or that kind of music from that area, this is exotic.
Sense.
This is exotic
Right?
to me. This is, I don't know, man. This is what like other bands sample. They use like bits and pieces of this. Like Dick Dale will incorporate some Middle Eastern tunes into his music, but she's like full blown that style, but also catching me because I do like hip hop music, because I do like a little bit of like the electro stuff, the techno of the time, especially like as we were graduating high school, the 2005 era of techno. Fucking banger stuff, dude. Some Sandstorm. I don't know when that song came out, but
No, Sandstorm was way older than that. Sandstorm was like 98.
I feel like
Pretty
Sandstorm
sure.
was high school era for us. Maybe
No,
2000.
well,
I feel like 2000
no.
or above.
Because I remember like freshman year listening to Sandstorm, and that was like 2001.
Yeah,
Let's see,
that's
let-
high school.
Let me see. Sandstorm. I'm just came out in 2000. Sandstorm came out in 2000.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the other song too that came out in the era of high school we liked a lot, that Push Me But Don't Hurt Me, Satisfaction.
Yeah.
That, I think it was Benny Benassi or something. That sounds about right. But like all that era, like she incorporates those, I don't know, those cliches, those easy targets, and then puts a little bit of hip hop, but not a lot of hip hop, but just enough to kind of capture everybody. But then she extends it even further and makes all these like super upbeat beats and then and choruses and flows, and then puts these hard hitting like topics underneath it, and nobody even fucking knows. And that's like Paper Planes, and that's
Yeah, I think it's also
unbelievable.
because you're just so distracted by the music because it's shit you don't normally hear, so you don't pay attention to the lyrics. At least at the first few listens, it's hard to. You're just so distracted.
Well, for sure,
So-
Paper Planes. I've always thought that Paper Planes is just about somebody who thinks they're fucking dope as fuck and dealing drugs and being a badass, and it's kind of
No,
on the
it's-
same line a little bit. There's parts here.
It's a little bit deeper.
Yeah, but
than that.
for sure, there's deeper stuff. But again, like I will say that Paper Planes, even more so than the last song too, the Come Around. Paper Planes is the outlier on the album.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's
And-
nothing that sounds like it.
And like clearly they didn't think this would even become a single, because it's the second to last song on the album.
Mm-hmm.
And this wasn't this was a third single.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that too. It wasn't even the first single. It was because like by the time you get to the third single, you're already kind of like out
You're
of that
scraping
cycle,
the
out
bottom
of
of the
the
barrel here.
yeah, you're out of that album cycle, out of that touring cycle, or you're reaching the end of it. So to release it as the third single and it blow up is pretty crazy.
And it's by far her biggest hit.
Biggest one, yeah.
Like exponentially her biggest hit.
What's so it's sounds stupid because I've never been a huge Clash guy, but listening to the Clash version or the where the sample is from, all I think of is Paper Planes, because I heard Paper Planes
unhear
first.
it. I know.
I know you can't
It's
help
difficult.
but think of MIA. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, the Clash song is great, but I mean, the song "Paper Planes" is fantastic.
I actually did
iconic.
finally listen to that Clash album this week because...
Do you have it?
No, I fucking sold it to you.
Yeah, I know. Combat Rock, great
Yeah,
record.
I should have just kept it, but that's
Yeah,
all
but
right.
you know, you snooze, you lose, right?
That is true. I mean, that's why you're selling me your Skrillex, so that's okay though. But yeah,
I'm not gonna sell my Skrillex, but
I did. I did listen to it finally this week, and I think it's a great album. And like friend of the pod Skip says, the history between reggae and like punk rock in the England area, is it's cool. It's interesting. It's an interesting topic to talk about, to read about, to listen to. But I don't like their song. I don't like that song. Whatever it's called, fucking
oh my god, what is the name of it?
Straight to Hell.
Yeah, Straight to Hell.
I don't like it. And
Really?
I think I don't like it because I can't get MIA out of my head.
Okay.
And
I could-
because it starts off almost the same. It's just the same beat and everything, and then it slows down in the Clash version. I'm like, okay, this is disappointing. I
know.
can't do it.
But it's so catchy. That guitar part is so fucking catchy.
I think that's
Both versions.
Like that's what makes her so great too, is because she's not hiding her samples. She doesn't hide her samples under a lot of like beats or anything. Like she starts and ends the song on a straight Clash sample, right? The ending of the
Yeah.
song, just that high guitar part.
Mhm.
You hear the first thing you hear and the last thing you hear is not her work, and I think that's ambitious of her not to mask samples like a lot of hip hop was doing in this era, was using 20-30 second samples and then masking it under like heavy beats. But she
Yeah.
didn't do that. She was like, here is who I am, here is what I grew up listening to, but then let's take the middle part and explore who I've become as a person, as an artist. And I think that's what makes this song great and her great.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one for sure. I feel like maybe like this song also almost seems like it could be like a mixtape song because of how because I don't know much about like the difference between like an album and a mixtape, but I think a mixtape is more a collection of songs that not only wouldn't fit like a cohesive album, but also songs that take samples that weren't cleared. Am I crazy in thinking that?
A mixtape?
Because yeah, right.
A mixtape is just a mixtape is just something that somebody thinks they're not. What I think, and what I've come to believe, a mixtape is just something that's not like sanctioned. Whereas an album is they're signed, they're going to make money off it. Whereas a mixtape is what people passed out in front of Chain Reaction to us.
Yeah,
all those
but-
years.
Yeah, and going along with that, like on a hip hop level, I feel like also there's songs that don't have the cleared samples, like we were talking about earlier with Biz Markie and Beastie Boys. You know, I feel like that's kind of what a mixtape is over the last 30, 35 years is that, you know, just uncleared samples. That's why they release them like free of charge, or they release them for nothing, or you know.
I would say mixtapes are bootlegs put out by the artist.
Yeah, essentially bootleg. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And I feel like that's what this song is, because it's such a huge lift from the Clash, who are such an enormous band, not even just in the punk realm, but just as a band in general. Like it just seems like such a huge lift from them to just take and to even put on a record is pretty remarkable, especially for an artist who she wasn't big, she wasn't popular. Like, how did she get the rights to this?
I also don't know how she got the rights to this, but again, we're not big Clashmen, and maybe like, I don't know.
I mean, Joe
Maybe
Strummer was still alive, right? Like he hadn't, let me see when Joe Strummer, I think he died in 2007, right?
He had to have died.
Oh no, he died in 2002. So Joe Strummer was already dead by the time she put this song out.
But they were punkers, and like, I don't know, their song also was kind of about people going to hell and like, fuck it, like immigrants going to hell because they're the color of their skin, straight up, who cares? And like, because you're black, because you're brown, because you're not white, you are going to hell. And so maybe the estate of the Clash thought that this was in line with like the Clash's ideals. And the more I listen to the
Yeah,
Clash,
could
like
be.
the more I do like them. And I think they're like the best of the big three. The Ramones, the Clash, and the
Oh.
Pistols.
Oh yeah. Out of the big three, for sure, they're the best. Absolutely. But then also, it always kind of like throws me off too, knowing that the guys from the Clash all came from like very wealthy families and like bureaucrats and shit like that. So it's always kind of like thrown me off, like how much of this was, because your family has a lot of money, so you're able to cut these record deals. Even though, you might have believed or probably believed in a lot of this shit, but you probably never really cut your teeth and played in fucking, dive fucking bars and all that kind of shit.
Who was the band we were talking about that sang about like driving in vans to make it big, but actually never had to do that because their first album went big or whatever?
Linkin Park, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
When we did Hybrid Theory.
yeah.
Yeah, the fucking one of the biggest plants in music history.
I'm a plant.
Oh, come on, we talked extensively about that. I think the two biggest plants we've ever talked about were Linkin Park and Boston. Like Boston was through and through a plant.
But they're not
They had
a
to.
plant. It was just he hired
They were a
musicians because he would there
No,
was
they
like
were
the
a
one
plant.
dude.
They were a plant.
You're a fucking plant.
We spent like probably 20 minutes talking about Boston being a plant.
Yeah, that's true.
And also Linkin Park too, when we did the Linkin Park record.
But
Those two bands
I
are
think,
fucking plants.
and then like
I don't think
Maya,
MIA is, but I think the Clash were a little bit.
we'll call her Maya, or I'll call her Maya because it's
That was her
easier than saying
name,
whatever her nickname. Yeah, but that's also some of the complaints she got later on in her career during this time was people talking or people. I don't know, demeaning her lyrics because she's rich now and she had a big hit, and like, what does she know about what the world is like? And so I think the same argument could be kind of stretched to just because you come from money doesn't mean you don't know that the world sucks, like the Clash.
True. But I feel like the Clash had a lot more opportunities than somebody like Maya would, because Maya came. Her dad was a revolutionary fighter in the Sri Lankan Civil War, which I don't know a ton about, so I'm not going to really go into that too much. But he was, and he wasn't a part of the family for a lot of her growing up because of that. And then her moving around Sri Lanka and then moving to London, into essentially the projects of London, and growing up in poverty. And so I mean, she obviously had a much tougher time, and she has like a much different viewpoint than say the guys from the Clash do, or did.
But they're both trying to. They both have the same end goal, right?
True.
They're both
true.
trying to bring awareness to the fact. One is just saying, "Hey, I was there. It sucks," whereas the other is saying, "I wasn't there, but I know it sucks."
Yeah.
Like they both
just-
still doing the same thing.
They are.
And I think that's I mean, again, not a Clashman whatsoever, but that's what draws me more to the Clash than the other two cucks that pretend they're
Oh,
punk.
dude, the Sex Pistols are just the fucking worst, man.
Well,
I hate the Sex
and
Pistols.
if we just called the Ramones as essentially a boy band with guitars, then I would be
Yeah,
fine
that's
with
really
that.
what they are.
I'd be cool with that, and
Yeah.
then I could get behind that. But the Clash, I feel, is like the only like true punk band out of the three, and like the more.
Well, they're the only band that had any sort of depth. They had good lyrics. They had good societal or good topical lyrics that still stand up to the test of time. It's not just saying like modern. Like if you look at some modern punk bands talking about Donald Trump, it's like, okay, dude, we get fucking Donald Trump was terrible, or like George Bush. Yeah, George Bush was fucking terrible. But you're not tackling like actual like issues. You're just attacking one person who was in power at a particular time. It's not like, they're going after, or like the Clash weren't going after like the prime minister at the time or anything like that. For
the
most part,
president
they
of
weren't doing
England.
yes, the president of England. Even though they did go after the PM. I don't remember who it was, but they went after them. Like in one song.
President Michael?
President Michael, yes.
Whatever. Yeah, it's
Yeah, anyway.
I did read not a lot, but as much as I could remember about this whole Sri Lankan thing. And just like real quick, the way I read it was Reddit, but the way I read it was the Sri Lankan Civil War started when they gained like their independence from Britain in like the 50s.
Yeah.
Because Sri Lanka started passing these like crazy discriminatory laws that were strictly against like the Tamil population. And throughout the next like 50 or 60 or 70 years, it's just like this genocide against these certain population of Tamil people. They're just getting killed like in the streets, just mobs of people killing these other factions of races in Sri Lanka
for no good reason.
Yeah,
That's
for really
wild.
for no fucking good reason. So
No
then Tamil,
fucking reason
so
at
but
all.
like what really gets me is that Tamil developed their own army, right? The Tigers, which
Yeah.
it stood for something longer than that, but the Tigers
Cool name, though.
essentially, and they were kind of like the freedom fighters, I guess, for the Tamil people. Which I mean, we're talking like 10% of the population was the Tamil, and then 90% is actual Sri Lankans. And so that battle was clearly one-sided. But then, like, even our government got behind and started listing the Tigers as a terrorist group. And I
Yeah, I
think it
know.
was around the same time where they started using, like suicide missions, assassinations, things that are normal in war when you're a big country. But because they were a smaller faction than the people they were fighting, I think that's why they were being named as terrorists. And then
Well,
that's,
also
that's-
the suicide bomber thing is a fairly new concept. I
well,
mean,
it wasn't like
you
suicide
had
bomber. It was assassination. If you get caught, take your cyanide pill. No matter what,
Okay.
you are not going to
Yeah,
get
okay,
caught. So it wasn't like an explosion type of thing. It was more
okay.
do your job. If you don't, if you get caught until you can be questioned or tortured, take your pill. So it was like a suicide mission type of thing. But that's like historically speaking, like that's been around for fucking centuries. That's been around for centuries.
I mean, my very little knowledge of samurai culture, that's what they did. Like if a samurai lost a battle or whatever, was captured, they would kill them. They would impale themselves. They would kill themselves rather than be a prisoner or betray what they believed in. I mean, that's probably a very loose, very, very loose interpretation of it,
I mean,
but I'm
for
pretty
every
sure
video
that
game I've ever played, that's what you do.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Like neither of us are experts, but
You fall
That's a
on your
very
sword at that point, and it's
basic knowledge. Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting that around this time where MIA was really coming out and talking about things that were not in the Western world and talking about like because also at the same time this album came out was the entire like Invisible Children
That's
organization
right, huh?
that was coming out and everybody was getting behind that, and she was also saying, hey, like that's really great also, but let's also talk about this too that's going on. And then people called her like a terrorist and saying she was backing the Tigers and that she's a terrorist and she's backing terrorist organizations. Her dad's a terrorist, and that wasn't the case at all.
She wasn't even allowed a work visa within the United States because she was considered a terrorist. She was denied multiple times
Don't
for
forget,
a working visa.
This is 2005. This is still a pretty close post 9/11 world for us Americans.
So people are,
and we know in our like inner friend circle, our friend was taken and put into like a room and questioned about driving buses and have you made a bomb and all of this stupid ass shit. And
he was gone for like a week, wasn't he? Something like that.
He just disappeared.
He just disappeared.
Where the fuck did you go?
Yeah. Freshman year of high school,
Friends,
fucking wild, man.
Yeah, dude. Like his family's store closed down, and we're like, why did it close down? Because they were getting questioned. And so this is a very young post 9/11 world. This is a very early Patriot Act world, and for people calling her like a terrorist is very it's very of its time. It makes sense because that's where we were as a country. That's where we allowed ourselves to be, and that's how we were taken advantage of, really, from policy, from government of the time. And it's just it's so fucking insane to me if you read again, like did you read the lyrics? Did you read the book? Did you see the movie? Like if you pay attention to what she's saying here, like clearly she's not a fucking terrorist in any capacity.
She's calling out the bullshit essentially.
Calls them as I sees them.
Yeah. I mean, she's essentially, she's like, her lyrics are like a very veiled version of like what Rage we're talking about in the 90s. Except Rage or like what Zach was talking about in the 90s was a lot of stuff that was going on in Mexico or parts of Central America. But what she's talking about is more Western Asia, which a lot of people don't talk about because that's India, that's Sri Lanka, that's a lot of that's some of the Middle East, So, or not even no, that does make sense. Not the Middle East, but it's parts of Asia that aren't really talked about a lot, because everybody thinks of Asia as like East Asia, like Korea, Japan, the Philippines, Vietnam, and all that stuff. But not a lot of people talk about Western Asia, which is there's a lot of land there. There's a lot of stuff there, and a lot of people that live within those countries.
Well, I
Especially
didn't even
India.
know. Dude, I've never even heard of Sri Lanka in my fucking life until I met a friend of the pod, Dimitri, who runs the Key podcast. But I
Wait, is he Sri Lankan?
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Oh no shit! I had no idea.
yeah. He's straight
Oh,
up. And
wow.
when I worked with him when I was like 20 at fucking Fridays in Brea, and he talked about being Sri Lankan, I thought he made the fucking word up. I thought it was a joke. Like well, you're what? Like Sri Lankan? Okay, come on. Where are you from? Really, for reals. Like I never even heard of the fucking country.
Just out of like pure ignorance, It's just like
Yeah.
you're not being offensive. You just don't know.
But this was like right around
Yeah.
the time where like their civil war ended, and to think that any country can even have a civil war in the century that we're in is just.
Yeah,
It's beyond our small Western minds. It's crazy
It's
to think.
wild. It's wild how narrow-minded this part of the world is. It's astonishing.
Because we base all civil wars off of our civil war,
Yeah.
right?
Because that's what we're taught. That's all we're ever taught.
Yeah.
Is our Civil War. We're only ever taught about the American Civil War in the 1800s. That's it. And even that Civil War that we're taught is so biased in itself. And there's so much that's left out in school. It's crazy. It's fucking nuts. I don't know.
It's who we are. It's what we're given, but it's not who we become.
Yeah.
So luckily, we have people like MIA to shock us back into coherence, as George Costanza would say.
Ah, yes. The great George Costanza.
But yeah, dude, Paper Planes. What B is this for you? This has got to be a B. I know this is a B.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a banger. It's a banger. It's my 4B. My
Okay.
4B.
It's my 3B.
So, I got some. It's not that too far off.
Yeah.
So lyrically on this one, I mean, we talked pretty extensively about the music here, but lyrically, I feel like this is more of like a storytelling. It's a storytelling like that they're kind of outlaws, or she's an outlaw selling like counterfeit items, more like counterfeit paperwork. And then also, they're also like thieves, and they rob banks and this and that. And it's kind of like this like small story of almost like a Robin Hood kind of thing, like steal from the rich to give to the poor. So it's like it's kind of masked in a weird way, like a Bonnie and Clyde mixed with Robin Hood. That's kind of what I got on this song, like a very, very loose, very, very, very loose reference to those things.
Okay.
But
okay.
and
okay.
it makes sense considering she came as really from poverty until she became like an artist in 2000 when she was able to sell her artwork. She was very poor, even in London. Like I said,
Yeah.
she grew up in essentially the projects of London, which is very, very low income.
That's another thing
So-
too. Is like the size of England makes it seem like how could you possibly have projects in a country that small, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just the way I look at it. That's the way I see it. That's the way I've been raised to look at it. Where you drive through Northern California to Southern California, it takes you fucking 12 hours.
I know. To go from like north to south in England is like 5 hours, 6 hours.
Yeah, so
maybe,
it's
you know?
it's
England's like
bizarre.
the size. England to me is like the size of Southern California. Like if you're to go from maybe a little bit like Fresno, I'd say like from Fresno to San Diego, if that, that would be the size of England.
Yeah, I can see that.
because Bakersfield's a little too close, but I feel like Fresno to San Diego.
Fresno
definitely
is
be
such
the-
shit too.
Dude, Fresno's the only good thing about Fresno is that it's like the entrance to the Sequoia National Park, which is beautiful and amazing.
Fresno.
But yeah, Fresno's a fucking
Let's get rid
armpit,
of it.
dude. It's terrible. It sucks, dude. To anybody who lives in Fresno, sorry. It's just
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah, Fresno's not
Move.
that great. But yeah.
Okay.
What do you got lyrically on this one, on Paper Planes?
Honestly, I think the chorus here, I think the song overall is playing on how we perceive immigrants in the Western world. I think the chorus, like straight up, is she's playing on our fears. Like immigrants, why do we hate immigrants? Because they're here to cause violence and take jobs. And that's exactly what is going on in the chorus. The gun representing the violence and the cash register sounds that represent money being taken from us. Why do we hate strawberry pickers? Because they're taking jobs from hardworking Americans. Why do we hate immigrants? Because they're causing violence. Like that's what us Americans fucking say when we
Yeah.
are just too
stupid.
stupid to fucking say anything else. And I think the
Yeah.
chorus just like perfectly exemplifies what is wrong with our ideals and our society.
I
And
mean,
then
mind you, it has gotten better over the years, but it's still far from perfect.
No, for sure. Like you can hate something that you love, right? Like I love the Angels.
Wait, hate something you love?
Yeah, you can hate something that you love. I love the Angels. The Angels baseball is my favorite. It's my favorite sport. It's my favorite team. But I fucking hate the way some things are run inside them. Much like this country, there's a lot of really good things, but goddamn, there's a lot of fucking things that just grind my gears. Like PG would say, Peter Griffin would say,
Dude, I was hoping you wouldn't use that reference.
or like grind my gears.
Oh,
You can for sure hate something that you love, absolutely, and
Okay, fair.
that's
fair.
that's what makes things better. Is you love something so much that you pick apart what makes it so horrible, and then you try and fix those things. And I think that's
And that's the most mature way to go about things too. Like try to
It's-
fix what's wrong, you
and
know,
I,
instead of just going along.
It's tough. It's tough out here in Arizona because I have to preface all my arguments with like, hey, dude, just so you know, I love America, but. And then it's like, well, what do you mean? But maybe you should leave then. If you don't like it, you should leave. It's like, oh fuck, man. Okay, well
This is a fun conversation.
that's not fun. but whatever. That's what I think the chorus is getting at here. I think the verses are dealing specifically with the way immigrants are trying to make money. And the first verse she talked about like making passports, like illegal activities, making fake passports. Like it's a bad thing. But then you think about it, why? Like who is buying fake passports? Are you buying a fake passport so you can go visit Mexico? Like, no, you're buying a fake passport so you can flee a war-stricken nation. And so
Yeah.
just alone, just to eat, like I'm stealing a loaf of bread to feed my family type of thing. I'm making a fake passport for this family so they can flee and gain asylum in America. But we don't get that second part. As Americans, as Westerners, we see you're making a fake passport, you're breaking the law, you should go to jail. It's black or white. There is no gray.
Yeah, that's true. And very rarely is it out of like the good and the bad. It's very rarely is it you're doing something like that for the good. You know, it's usually always a negative connotation.
Yeah.
So I guess my interpretation my interpretation wasn't that great, but
Well,
I don't know. I wanted
still
the
the same
like,
type of
I don't
thing,
know.
though. You're talking about like Robin Hood. Robin Hood essentially stole from the rich and then gave to the poor, which is kind of what MIA is doing. She's stealing ideas from the haves and giving them to the have-nots. And then,
Have-nots,
to
yeah.
be honest, we are the have-nots as far as ideas are concerned because we like to think we're progressive thinking, but we still have a lot to learn.
Absolutely,
so
everybody
that's-
does. It's arrogant.
That's what
It's
she's doing.
being way too arrogant to think that you're not.
She's a Robin Hood of ideas. I like it.
Yeah, okay, that's
I'll
what I
give
was
it
going
to
for.
her.
I'm
I'll give
smarter.
it to her.
I'm smart too. So say that I'm smart too. All right. Do we got anything else on Paper Planes? What do you think?
Dude, I'll go all day. Don't forget about the music video, the censorship. Like, what else you want to talk about?
Okay. Yeah.
Paper Plane it's her biggest fucking hit. Like, we would not be doing justice to MIA if we did not talk about Paper Planes. Even more
Also,
so.
I meant to bring this up like a few minutes ago before we got back into Paper Planes, but did you read about the Oprah thing?
No. What Oprah?
So, yeah, so apparently, like in 2007 or 2008 or something like that, she met with Oprah, and Oprah took a picture with her. You know, not a selfie, but just like a proper picture with a photographer. And then after the picture was taken, Oprah pretty much said, like, I don't want to talk to you. You're a terrorist. We have nothing to discuss. I don't want to interview you. Like, she pretty much shut down Maya like right away because she believed that she was a terrorist. But she just took the photo as like a photo op, like as just like a way to show like, I'm Oprah. I'm open to everything. But yeah, no, she refused to talk to Maya after that photo was taken. Yeah, pretty fucked, right?
It's, dude, like
Oprah's such a fucking bitch, dude.
I mean, Oprah's such a
I mean, I've never liked her,
fucking
but
cuck.
it's
Yeah,
just,
dude, Oprah's
yeah.
a cuck, and she is a proverbial like fat cow. Not like literally,
Yeah.
but she's a shill, man. She will just do whatever
Oh,
she
totally.
can for fucking ratings. She is not a person of the people, and she's one of those people that will donate like $1,000 or $10,000 or even $100,000, and everyone like freaks out. But then you realize how much money she actually has, and it's like
Yeah.
us donating $1 or like fucking
and
10 cents.
when she was like the first woman billionaire in like 1995, you know, it's just like,
Unbelievable.
dude, the amount of money she has, and that's just like, that's like
on hand money.
Yeah, that's
that's-
document. That's nothing like that she has in the Caymans or anything hidden. You know, that's just money that she's claimed. So fuck that lady. And it's really kind of great too how Maya just came out and told the story. Like, she doesn't give a fuck. Like, not at all. That's what I like about her too. Like, she does not care who she offends. Maya is pretty cool.
I think she's fucking dope, and I think like she doesn't give herself credit in the way other people probably would, because her dad was essentially a freedom fighter, and she's not saying like, oh yeah, I know what it's like because my dad was a freedom fighter. She like flips it and goes the opposite way and says, you know what, like, my dad did a lot of great things. Like, he was a freedom fighter, he fought for what he believed in, but he was never home. I don't even know who the fuck he is. And like, that's something that you don't ever think about when people are off freedom fighting. And when people make the decision to be a family man or to fight for what they believe in, you usually think it's like black or white. Like, oh yeah, you should always fight for what you believe in. But then you don't get to unpack kind of the repercussions of that decision. And Maya is the repercussions of that decision. Like, her growing up without a father, even though he was doing what he truly believed in, she still grew up without a father.
Yeah, he wasn't a good dad. You know,
He was never there, like literally
Yeah.
never fucking there. And he would send her letters from time to time or whatever it was. But there was a complete disconnect from her and her dad. And her mom worked hard to provide food, but never like pushed the Sri Lankan freedom fighting thing on them, because that's what the dad was doing. And you can't have both parents doing it, because then who's going to feed the kids? And I think that's a very real thing.
what I read too, which I thought was kind of interesting considering her beliefs and what she's talked about in the media, was that her mom, when they moved to London, her mom became a seamstress for the royal family.
Yeah.
Weird, right? Like, it is a little weird that happens. And then why would they, I don't know. It's weird knowing that was a seamstress for them. And then the dad was, you know, this freedom fighter, I guess you could say, in Sri Lanka. And then she's saying all this in the media. Like, doesn't it make you kind of wonder, like, how is that possible? How does that make sense?
Well, you think like, okay, so she moved to London to gain asylum. So they were documented, they were photographed, they were put into the area, and they were kept tabs on. And what better way to keep tabs on somebody who's married to somebody who is on the front lines than to put him in like the royal house or wherever the fuck those weirdos
Whatever she
live.
was doing, yeah.
Those fucking
Or just what they were doing.
the royal family cucks live. I don't know what they do over there. A bunch of weirdos.
Buckingham Palace.
They all look way too similar, dude. They're a fucking weird family.
Because they're all like, aren't they like? Isn't like the rumor always been that they're all incestual and they're all like
Yes, they're all
first and second cousins,
inbred
and shit,
fucking weirdos. Because that's what you did. I don't know, back in like King Henry the fucking 45th thousandth. I don't know. Bunch of weirdos, man. People in power are just fucking weird from the dawn of time.
Yeah, it's true.
Whatever. So censorship,
All right.
yeah, dude. At Paper Planes got censored at MTV. They censored out the finger or the bullets, the guns, and they censored
Yeah.
out the weed and bongs part. And there was a big
So
thing
stupid.
with that because 50 Cent came out and he was just like, "What the fuck, man? MTV's a joke." Even BET was censoring stuff, including 50 Cent. And then remember like 50 Cent's song I'll Still Kill? It was censored to I Still Will. Yeah,
No, I
dude.
don't remember that.
His old fucking
Not
not
remember that.
not an old song, but like mid to like late 2000s. I think it was like 2005, 2006 song. His song was
Yeah.
called "I'll Still Kill," and then it was censored to "I Still Will." And then he was all
So
pissed
dumb.
off. And yeah, he's a big guy. Like you don't piss off 50 Cent. He took a bunch of
Yeah,
bullets
he-
too. Didn't die.
He took
So
like 4 bullets.
That's
and didn't
weird.
die, yeah.
He took like 14 bullets and didn't fucking die.
Was it that many?
It was a lot. It was like 1,000 or something. I don't know how much it was. But then he talked about, he said, who the fuck are MTV to make that judgment call? Why are bands like The Killers still totally okay? And we're not even talking about that. But my song, I'll Still Kill, which, yes, it glorifies violence, whatever. But why is MTV the one making that call? MTV's supposed to be,
True.
you know, a neutral ground for artistic music and things like that. So
Yeah.
MIA was censored. That's fun, I guess. And then the
Yeah.
music video, like I don't know if you watched the music video again, but
I did, yeah.
it's boring. I don't like the video.
Yeah, whatever. It's
I thought it was boring.
Yeah.
I thought it was super boring. There was a lot of things like, oh, she's playing on these different aspects, and I was like, no, that's a fucking boring video. It's lame. It's awkward. It's dated. Doesn't make any sense. It
was the only video I watched from this, and I don't know why. I just after I watched it, I thought, yeah, I don't really care to watch the other one.
It was stupid.
Because normally we don't really touch upon the music videos unless we have nothing to talk about,
yeah.
and I figured we'd have enough to talk about here to not have to bring it up. So I only watch Paper Planes. So.
That's good. That's all you really need.
Um,
And it was a dumb video.
And then so I just looked it up real quick. 50 Cent was shot 9 times. So this is what it says. It
9
says he
fucking
returned.
times, dude.
He returned to the back seat of the car, and another car pulled up nearby. An assailant walked up and fired 9 shots at close range with a 9mm handgun. He was shot in the hand, the arm, the hip, both legs, the chest, and the left cheek. Doesn't say if it's a butt cheek or the face cheek. I don't know.
No, it was definitely
But
the face. I remember him he got shot in the face, and like that was like the headline.
Okay.
He got shot in the face.
Yeah, so that's what.
Dude,
happened.
9 fucking times? Are you kidding me?
9 times. At close range too. It wasn't just that's pretty wild. Survive that shit.
But how, as the shooter, you shoot somebody 9 times and you don't
How
kill
do you
them.
not bleed out? Yeah, how do
Bruh.
you not bleed out? I don't get it. It's pretty fucking wild.
Damn, that's gangster.
That's quite a story. It's quite a story for sure.
There's nobody else in history that can like pull that off. That I think, because Tupac got shot the first time like 3 or 4 times. He survived, but
That's true. Yeah, he
that was
survived,
3
but
or
then-
4.
Yeah, and then the second time he didn't last,
Oh.
unfortunately. But I mean, it's true. I mean, well, you never know. He could still be alive too. We just
That's
don't
true.
know. All right. So, what else do you want to talk about?
No, let's move
What
on.
other
Paper
song?
planes. Let's put that one to bed.
45 minutes later.
Yeah, it was a lot. It's an important song though.
It is. So then, what's your 1B?
My 1B. You want to do my 1B? You want to do your 1B?
Let's do your 1B. Yeah,
Okay,
you
my
always go
1B. My 1B is the opener. Bamboo Banga.
Ah, Bamboo Banga.
Bamboo Banga.
That's my 8B. I got 8 Bs, and that's my 8B.
Dude, we're jumping right into this album, right into the song. It's that drum machine, heavy bass. And this is a pretty straightforward dance song here. Some verved up vocals. I like it. I like the background, like Haas she's throwing out there. I think the song is fucking unbelievable. You have 8
It's
Bs?
a great. I have 8 Bs. Yeah, and this is my number
Damn.
8. This was more of like. It was more of a hype song. It was a great opener to the record and a great hype song and a great way to introduce like kind of what you're gonna be hearing the rest of the record, minus Paper Planes and Come Around. And it's a great way to start it. So I'm gonna play a little bit of Bamboo Banga because we haven't played a song in a while. So here
That's
it is
true.
from MIA.
Road runner, road runner. Going under my power. Road runner. Going under my power. With your radio on. With your radio on. Road runner. Going under my power. With your radio on. With your radio on. Somalia, Angola, Ghana. India, Sri Lanka, Burma, bamboo banger. It's a bamboo banger. I said bamboo banger. It's a bamboo banger. I said bamboo banger. And we're hitting our records like a tennis player. And the drummers do the shit like the Macarena. It's a jungle banger, a cold jammer. I said jungle banger. I said cold jammer. It's a jungle banger. I said cold jammer. Yeah, I'm border banana, won't wanna banana. I go on my buns with summer. Now I'm sitting down, chilling on gunpowder. Strike match.
There you go, Bamboo Banga from MIA.
Bamboo
It's a
Banga.
good one, man. Great way to open up the record. And I feel like I just realized this today. She kind of has like this like early onset vocal fry, especially in this song. This is like I can't even do like a proper vocal fry, but I really heard it this today when I was re-listening to this record for the last time. It's weird. I,
could-
don't know, but it's
I could hear it.
captivating. Yeah.
It kind of comes along with like the monotony of her vocals because you're doing the same tone for so many bars. At some point, it's going to become annoying.
Well, yeah, but it's not annoying. That's the thing. That's kind of the charm with MIA. I felt, especially on these first two records, is that she does a lot of stuff that, for whatever reason, normally would be very annoying, but it works for her. And I don't get it. It's just It's more captivating than anything, and it gives this like unique taste to her some of her songs, and I think it's really fantastic stuff. And then Pharrell's on this song, right? He does the come on part.
Is that
Right?
him?
Yeah, that's what I read. I saw somebody post about that on Discogs. They're like, "Oh, my favorite part is Pharrell saying come on." Like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I mean, then when you listen, you're like, yeah, it does sound like Pharrell. But then I forgot to look up to see if it was actually him.
Oh, okay.
But-
I did not see that,
Yes.
but possibly.
Possibly.
Pharrell was everywhere at some point.
I mean, think about it too. In the early mid 2000s, what the Neptunes were doing. I mean, they were working on so many records at the time.
That is true.
Like not even like popular records, because the Neptunes were essentially unknown at that point. Because Pharrell, when he broke away from the group, or the duo, I should say, it wasn't until like the late 2000s when he started to collaborate by himself with other artists. So, but the Neptunes did a lot of shit.
So Bamboo Banga is
Um,
your 8th banger, huh?
That's my 8th B, yeah, my 8th
Okay.
banger.
All right.
Should we get into my 1B, or do you have anything?
Yeah,
What
no,
do we got
let's-
lyrically on Bamboo?
I don't know. I thought this song was just about poverty, pointing out poverty, but a little more nuanced, a little bit. This is one of the ones where, much like Semi-Charmed Life, right? People thought it was such a cool song. It was funny until they realized it was about meth addiction. I think like Bamboo Banga is kind of the same way. It's a fun little track until you realize it's a little deeper.
Yeah. Well, and I wouldn't necessarily say deeper, but it's more of like a shout out to where kind of she came from, or like countries like that, like impoverished countries, countries or third world countries, saying, you know, I'm here, I'm speaking out, I'm talking about us and kind of what I went through. I know what you're going through, and this is like a shout out to that, you know, and making, you know, voices
Okay.
heard that aren't normally heard. And I feel like it also relates to her traveling the world when she recorded this record. She recorded this record in like I think 8 or 9 different places.
Oh, so
around the
cool.
world. Yeah, it's pretty rad. And a lot of those countries were countries that you wouldn't normally record music in. They're just like small little places, a lot of impoverished places, and I feel like this is a shout out song to all that. And like I said earlier, this kind of sets you up for what you're going to be hearing lyrically, musically throughout the rest of the record. That's what I got on lyrically on that one. But
Okay. Well, I'm dying to know. What is your 1B?
XR2. Dude, this song blew me away. Like, I could not believe this isn't a banger for you.
Oh my God. No, it is. It's my 6B. I love this song, but I got it.
Oh my God.
This one?
Dude, this song is so good. Like, this is, I mean, I don't know much about the London music scene, but then after reading the lyrics and what it's about, it's just like, this is exactly what I would have imagined the London music scene being in the mid 90s. Like, this is just it's so specific and it's so dancing, like almost a Euro dance style. But then she has this vocal delivery that, did you ever hear the Lonely Island song, Jizz in My Pants?
Yeah.
Her vocal delivery is a lot like the verses in that song, where it's just like, it's very kind of like almost monotone, but like lower register. And then in Jizz in My Pants song, they sing with or they rap with a British accent. So I just every time I hear this song, I think of that. And then I also just love like the fake trumpet sounds, and just everything is so electronic in this song, and it's super fast, upbeat, dance beat. Dude, I think this is an absolute banger of a song. And I don't feel like there's anything deep on this song lyrically.
Nah.
It's just her talking about growing up in that scene, in that music scene, and pretty much what they did. Like, that was the scene. Like, it wasn't like high end. They weren't doing anything crazy. They were just partying and having a good time with each other and just living a good life, just living the only way they knew how at the time, you know?
This is the rave scene from the early 90s. That's all this is. It's the throwback song. And like literally she's just spitting out a bunch of cool shit from the scene back in the day. Everything that she liked. There's no deeper meaning than this. It's just a fun song all around.
I feel like the latter half of the record is better than the first half. And one of those reasons is because of this song and a couple other ones, but mostly this one. This song is just, it's so good, man. It's so fucking good. It's so silly. But I'm going to play a little bit of XR2. So here it is from MIA.
Where were you in 92? 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 92, 92, 90, 90, 92. It finds stereos Alpine 2020 Thunderbird 1209 took a pill good time all the time. This is how we do next XR2 the boys that find stereos Alpine 2020 Thunderbird 1209 took a pill good time all the time. Brick Lane Massive, we were like grime. Labyrinth where dance Maggie's time. High top fades, we're never paid. Roll out jeansies, Lucasade, Sachi jeans, shades and chain. We roll in there like we're late. DJs MCs private waves. Keep it secret like it may.
There you go, XR2 from MIA. Even the title of the song is just a name of a type of car. That's all it is. It's so cool. I love it.
Did you know what
I get so
an
pumped.
XR2 was before this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I had no idea either.
I had no idea. And then you look up the car, and then I thought, so British.
That's what I think. Exactly. I was like, okay, I completely understand the song now based off of that car type alone. I get it.
It's so British looking. Oh my God. I loved it though. Oh, that song is so good. I playlisted it. That song is
Damn.
fantastic. I think it's so good. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm becoming like a Britishman. I don't know. Maybe British hip hop is like my new thing. Maybe I'm gonna start getting into that stuff, into that scene. What does Skip think? I want to know what Skip thinks. Let me know.
This
Skip.
is a, I mean, this is like, I don't fucking even know, but I feel like they get everything a little bit later than we do, and I'm only basing that off of because she's pulling out tricks that were not popular in America at the time, and I'm basing that off of friend of the pod Sloan, who, love him or hate him, was heavily into the genre, and he's pulling out records like 5-6 years before some of this stuff was coming out that sounds like this. I was like, oh wow, this sounds exactly like MIA's Call Up. But when this came out, this came out in 1991, 1990. I was like, fuck,
Okay.
dude. So it almost sounds like the England was getting things a little bit later.
maybe in the electronic realm. But I mean,
Hip
we all
hop
know
too,
yeah, hip hop, yeah.
for sure, like hip hop. And then I don't know. Not that it's like it's not diminishing what she's accomplished or what anyone's accomplished in England. It's just they're getting things a little bit later, so it's putting a different spin on it when we're hearing it again as Americans. It's been more
True.
refined in England. You
But
know
also,
what I mean?
when you also think of, say, hip hop started here in the United States. Like that started in pretty much New York. Like New York was the center of hip hop when it began. So it's like you have something that originates here, and of course it's going to begin to spread throughout the U.S. and obviously the world. So, I mean, I understand for genres that started here, you know, it's going to get over there at a later time, 5-10 years later. So it's not
then,
it's not outrageous.
Like techno itself, I'm pretty sure techno started in like Europe. Like techno is from
Yeah,
Europe.
like very Euro,
like
yeah, it's very Euro.
Germany or France or like. I'm pretty sure techno in like
not
the
really England, but yeah.
early 80s started in Europe because a lot of the stuff like Sloan listens to, it's like German. He's like, oh, this German house band from fucking 1985 or fucking this France techno band from 1987.
Or you also see you see a lot of DJs who primarily just tour Europe. They don't tour the United States. But I don't know if that's just because Euro or dance music is more popular over there. But yeah, I don't know. It's all strange. It's all so strange to me.
It is a new genre for sure. The techno stuff, and when we say techno, it's encompassing all of electronic music because we're naive and we think we're funny. But XR2,
I mean, you and I are really funny, but
yeah, no, for sure, probably the funniest, the most funny,
Yeah.
the funniest,
the
the most funniest out of everybody.
let's just use all of them. Let's just use all of the different ways of saying it.
XR2 is a banger, man. And then when she started listing
is.
things off, like who doesn't like like
so good.
acronyms, right? Acronyms are the bee's knees. That's why humans make acronyms. We love them. And I love all of them. And I love listening to it and then being like, oh, she said this. I recognize that. Oh, this. I recognize that. And it's fun. It's a good.
It's a great time.
It's obnoxious,
Really a great time.
but it's good. It's so fucking dumb.
Let's read some of them. The
It's good.
XR2 808 MP3 MC ELT or whatever XOX to MC5 MTV had ADD NBC and BET. Like it's so stupid. It's just like these acronyms they're not even related. It's just so. It's
And then
just,
the way she says it too, she's not like MTV had ADD. She's like MTV had ADD. And it's so monotone. Like she's
It's so
boring it
monotone,
up
yeah.
so much. Like why is being so boring so great?
it's
When
so
did that
captivating.
happen?
I don't know. Man, it's so good. I think maybe I'm gonna start getting into like London or underground London hip hop. I think I might start getting into that.
Oh damn, girl.
Because there's one song that went viral on TikTok last year. I know, I'm a TikTok man. But it's this girl named Millie B, and I'm pretty sure she's from London. And she put out a song called M to the B, which is so stupid. Millie B, M to the B, so dumb. But it was a diss track to somebody else in the scene, and it's a pretty solid diss track. But it's so fucking British. Like her accent is so it's so thick, but it's I don't know, whatever. I get so hyped when I listen to it. Like I rarely feel that way about like pop music or like just music like that. But that's how I listening to that stupid song and then this song, I felt the same way. So maybe it's not stupid song, stupid music. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
No,
But yeah, maybe I'm going to start getting into maybe I'm going to start getting into underground London hip hop. That's my new thing.
Honestly, like I've listened to some underground like London or England hip hop.
Yeah.
It's when I can hear their accent that draws me away. And
Really, that's what draws me in.
dude.
It's
Like
just-
it completely takes me out of the intensity of it, and that's why
Yeah,
I really
it's never
like.
intense, but
I really like the Rubber Bandits and that because that is kind of like hip hop. I don't know how big it is in England or if it's underground or whatever, but I like that because, dude, I'm from America. I think English accents are goofy. I think all accents are goofy. I think unless you talk the way I do, I think it's goofy. And so when I hear it, I laugh. And so I can't be hearing English gangster rap and then listening to Cillian Murphy fucking speak in Peaky Blinder talk. And
isn't
then
it Cillian Murphy? I think it's Cillian Murphy.
I think it's Cillian Murphy. But it makes me laugh. I giggle.
And then, honestly, anything outside of the Poway accent is goofy because the Poway accent is the ultimate accent. You can't get better than that or cooler than that.
So I mean,
We
there's
can
got to
all agree on
be one accent that everything is based off of, right?
The Queen's English.
That no, well, can't be that because we're both laughing as we say it. So that can't be it. Are we basing it off of the Poway accent? Is the Poway accent like the end all accent? Everything comes from
It
the
is.
Poway accent. Is Tom DeLonge
everything comes-
like the authority on how to speak proper words?
Tom DeLonge is God.
Okay, all right. I mean, I'm willing to get behind that. I am.
Might as well go for it. Create a hashtag. Tom DeLonge is God. Poway accent is. Let's Poway accent.
It's not a.
We got to come up with some hashtag or something.
It's not a hashtagable dialect though. Like, how do you hashtag spiders? Like,
Spider.
you can't hashtag
God.
spiders. Is there like an umlaut that was invented for the O's?
For the
It's like-
Poway accent. we got to create like a whole new like kind of alphabet just to accommodate the Poway accent.
Dude, that would be unbelievable.
That'd be so stupid, but I'd love it.
I think Tom would like it for like 10 seconds too. Oh God, it's awful.
It's terrible.
What's your
but
what's
great.
what's your 2B? What's your 2B?
well, but you didn't say your 2B.
Did I not?
No, you didn't. You didn't. We both did our 1Bs, and then now it's your turn.
Oh yeah, my
What do you got
notes
for your
are
2B?
not my notes are not deleted here. Well, let me.
Pod reading, man. Pod reading and pod deleting is very difficult for you.
My 2B is Jimmy. And the first line of my notes here says Tyler's gonna hate this disco beat.
It's not a banger for me, but it's still a good song. It's far from a stinker. I mean, there's only one song that's on the edge of being a stinker, and that's "Come Around."
Oh, okay, that's fair.
But Jimmy's a good song. I actually did like the beat. I mean, I'm not opposed to disco beats. It's just when you just dive headfirst into a disco song, it can be bad. But she does it really well.
I didn't.
It's a
I
good
didn't
song. It's a
think
solid
like
song.
I didn't think there was going to be that much disco, as much disco as there was on this album going into this. I had no fucking idea.
Well, I didn't think there would be any disco going into this,
That's true. That's
especially
true.
after listening to the first record. This is one that's what's so cool about this record too, is that she catches you so off guard when you're expecting one thing, then she throws in a song like Jimmy, and you're like, okay, there's up to this point, there's nothing like this song, and then you get up to Mango Pickle Downriver, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then you get to World Town. Wow, this is like cool world music. And then XR2, and you're like, okay, I'm in London underground hip hop. So it's just like you're just hit with all this weird ass shit, but it's so good. So good.
There's a lot of Bollywood in Jimmy. There's a lot of Bollywood style in this.
Yeah.
And I I love the attention to some detail here. Like for instance, the hi-hat. It's just not just riding the it's that third note that's a really open hi-hat. So you're getting that really abrasive open hi-hat note. It is very disco, but at least it gives the song a little like something. It's a little bit more.
It catches you
more
off
meat on
guard,
the
and that's what you
bones.
need. You need to be caught off guard because you don't want the same. Because she tends to use a lot of percussion in her music for her beats, a lot of African style or pulled from that style. So you get a lot of that. So when you throw a beat like this in, it's just so. It just really catches you off guard. So and that's good. I mean that shows a good artist and shows a good songwriter because she can mix it up like that, but still make it good and still make it interesting. I'm not criticizing it at all, but
You actually criticize all of it. So
I didn't.
That's
but
fine.
that's okay. Keep thinking that. That's fine.
okay.
So what do you got? I mean, do you want? We can play this song and talk about the lyrics. What do you?
This
think?
is a kind of a cover. So, there's a lot of like covers / interpolations that she uses in this album. And this is from an 80s Bollywood movie called Disco Dancer, or the song is
I'd be
called
down to
Disco
see that.
Dancer, which itself was inspired by a song by the group Autowan and their song Tes OK, which I think is a French group. But I am not like I know what Bollywood is. I'm aware of it. There is a big Bollywood scene in like Norwalk, close to Buena Park. So I've been there.
Cerritos.
Is it Cerritos?
It's Cerritos. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that whole
It's
street
like an
right
entire
there.
block almost.
Yeah. Well, no, it's more than it's like 5 blocks. It's an entire fucking street almost.
So like
and
I've
it's-
been there.
it's
I've
all-
drank
yeah.
there at like the 2 bars that they had, and I've watched 2 or 3 Bollywood movies called Bahubali,
Okay.
which are so good. They're so fucking good. And if I could like sum up Bollywood based off of these 2 movies that I've watched, it's just over the top, completely over the top. Musical arrangements, songs, action, acting, everything about it. Dude, I think they're still on Netflix. If you watch this movie called Bahubali, they are just
Bahubali?
it's
What made you watch
unbelievable.
them?
Because they were so crazy. This guy fucking like there was an elephant with big huge tusks like a woolly mammoth charging at this guy, and he just reached out with his arms, grabbed the tusks, and planted his feet in the ground and like stopped the elephant from charging. I was like, whoa. I'm in, man. I'm in.
I assume this is like a modern Bollywood movie.
Yeah, this is
Not
probably
something from,
like
like, the 70s.
2000. No, this is like 2010 ish.
Oh, okay. So it's a little bit more outlandish than what they were doing, like Bollywood in the 70s and 80s, which I've always seen clips of, but I've never seen an actual movie. And the shit from back then was wild and crazy, but this sounds even crazier.
I think just with technology, they and when I say they, I mean Bollywood.
Well, the
It's-
industry,
it's-
yeah, the industry.
Yeah, the industry is just taking it a step further and appealing to not just like the Hollywood masses, but like us Americans that want more. I want more craziness, more action, more explosions.
And you know when you really think about it, like Bollywood doesn't need to, they don't need to appeal to American audiences at all, because when you look at the amount of money that comes into that industry, and dude, it's almost as big, if not as big as Hollywood itself. But it's never talked about here because of white people. I mean, that's essentially what it is. It's just not. It's not an American thing, so we're not going to touch on it. It's like with sports. We don't focus on soccer and cricket, but the rest of the world does. But we focus on football and baseball, 2 very, very American sports. But worldwide, people focus on soccer and cricket, which are way more popular than baseball and football. It's this like American arrogance. And I feel like it's the same thing with Hollywood and Bollywood. It's wild.
Yeah. No, it's that is true. Except for the fact that baseball is America's and Earth's greatest sport. But
That's why we have the World Series.
Yes.
Obviously, I
Yeah.
forgot about the World Series.
the
Yeah.
2002 world champion Anaheim Angels. I've said it once. I've said it again. It's
And you'll keep
Duh.
saying it for the rest of your life.
that's what it is. It is what it is.
No, it's not. It's not.
But yeah, Jimmy, man. Jimmy's my 2B. I think this is, from what I read, this was a song that she wrote about a relief worker that she had worked with. and then she wanted to court him, and they wanted to have relations, but he was kind of a non-committal dude, and
Yeah, he was
so
a little
she was.
fickle.
Yeah, so she was kind of left there like, bro, like, you want me or no? And he was like, well, maybe I want you. And she's like, no, do you want me or no? And he was
Yeah.
like, well, then no. And she's like, well, maybe he still wants me.
Yeah, she was like, she was really into him. From what I got too, she was really, really into him, but he kept turning her down, or not avoiding her, but just kind of like, I don't know, just being kind of a dick. Just stop being a coward. Just say, if you don't want to meet up, then don't meet up. Just don't give her the
Playing
runaround.
hard to get.
Yeah, don't. I mean that's silly boy stuff right there. So we don't play silly boy games here at Ask Night Radio, and Jimmy's a silly boy. So
Jimmy.
yeah, fucking and Jimmy too. What? Jimmy is fucking guy. What are
Well,
you, fucking five?
it's like
Come on.
it's his name wasn't Jimmy, to be fair.
Yeah, I know.
But
Yeah.
Jimmy is like that. Like nobody influential was ever named. I guess Jimmy Carter was.
Jimmy
named
Carter.
Jimmy.
Yeah. A U.S. president within the last like 50 years, Jimmy Carter. Yeah.
Yeah, but not everybody liked Jimmy Carter, though. To be fair,
Yeah, a lot of people didn't
A lot
like
of dissent in Jimmy Carter's presidency,
True.
but
he's
Jimmy,
still
like,
alive,
it's
still
a
kicking.
stupid. It's a stupid name. Jimmy.
Yeah, I know. It's very infantile. It's like you pretty much don't want to be called Jimmy after the age of like 10.
Yeah, grow up, Jimmy Carter. Okay, grow up and do something with your
I mean,
life.
obviously, some people there is an exception, but
Yeah,
for the
there's
most part-
an exception.
but yeah, Jimmy. But I think that's also plays with what she's kind of trying to get across in the song, that he was
It's childish.
immature and childish. Yeah. So good song though. Should we
song.
play it, or what do you think?
That's all right. We can move on. We've gone for a minute and we got a lot of bangers to get through.
Okay, so my 2B is oh my god, dude.
Is it
I can't
mango
even
pickle?
speak.
It's mango pickle.
No, Mango Pickle is my 7B.
Okay.
But I love that song though. That's a cool song.
Okay.
Oh man, there's so many cool songs on this. But my 2B is World Town. This is another one that man, it should be really annoying. It should not be this catchy, but I am so hooked every time I hear this song. I'm absolutely hooked. I love the song. The beat, the chorus. It's just so stupid. It's so dumb, but I love it. Absolutely love it. And
This
it's so
is-
different from XR2. It's the two. So my two favorite songs are just so wildly different from one another. This is more in the vein of like what she was doing on her first record. Like I don't want to say quirkiness, but just her own style. It's her style that she kind of defined. So it's a good song, really good song. What do you
This
got?
is
on it?
I mean, first of all, I think this is one of the best hooks on the album. I absolutely love it. I think it's so catchy. It's so fun. I think her little needy knee parts, they're so like, this is my 4B. They're so snotty. It's so fucking good. But it's all about like, I don't even know if this is what it is, but it's all about that bassoon sounding thing, that high pitched little bugger, whatever that thing is. I love that.
You
I
trying to
love
throw
that
a
so
British
fucking
accent
much.
on there?
Yeah, I'm trying to identify
Work on the
myself
Queen's
with
English?
whatever it is. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. No, I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But yeah, that's like my favorite. I think that's like the cherry on top of this damn near perfect song.
It's fucking fantastic. So let's play a little bit of World Town, and then we'll get into the lyrics a little bit. So here we go from MIA.
Think of all the shit that's keeping me down. If you're dead from the waist down, it's easy staying down. I never thought about it twice, but you do pay a price. Any wicked cash that feeds my mom no rise. Yo, don't be calling me desperate when I'm knocking on the door. Every wall you build, I knock it down to the floor. See me bubbling quietly. See me acting like you ain't met me. See me bubbling quietly. yeah. See me acting like you ain't met me. See me, band up. Guns out. Represent. The world town. Hands up. Guns out. Represent. The world town. Hands up. Guns out. Represent that world town. Hands up. Guns out. Represent that world town. Represent that world town. Represent that world town. Represent that world town. Represent that world town.
There you go. A little bit of World Town
Mm.
from MIA. Man, so you think it's a bassoon, right? That the main kind of thing.
I don't know. It's some
I
kind
don't
of
know what it is.
modulation. I don't know what it is. I thought it was a bassoon just because it can hit that kind of grainy high note.
Yeah,
But,
I was thinking more like a Moog device, like some weird electronic thing, like almost something like De Facto would use to like supplement whatever
Ooh, yeah.
Ike was doing. You know, because Ike always did like a lot of organ stuff or the melodica, but I feel like maybe like Jeremy would throw in like a weird Moog sound, and that's kind of what this is. But then they built an entire kind of hook with that one weird Moog sound. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but.
That actually
But
makes
it's so
a lot
catchy.
of sense. Like that, I can hear. I mean, just because De Facto is an electronic band, but driven band, but that makes sense. That sound, I don't know what that sound
It's the
is,
sound, yeah.
but that's how I can describe it in my mind, or I think sometimes.
yeah, where you,
that's what it sounds
I
like.
hope so. I hope you
Yeah.
think in your mind. But no, that's what I feel. And the dude, you mix that with the nee part. Like, why is that even catchy? Why is it so?
It's so obnoxious.
It is, but it's so good. Like you can't help but just love it. Oh my god! I don't know if it is like a Sri Lankan thing, like in the music stylings of that country, or is it more like an Indian styling? I don't know. Like I don't know much. I especially don't know a lot about Sri Lankan music, but maybe it's a little Indian based as well. I'm not really sure, but it sounds so good. Just
I
the
think-
melody and the tone of it.
I mean, like again, when we first started doing this, there was a lot of terms I was going to throw out that were probably not right, but
Yeah.
I think Indian sounding is a fairly good blanket description for a lot of our Western fans
True.
that
true,
listen
true,
to the
true.
pod. They can kind of get the idea, and in doing so, I would hope that a lot of our fans would dig a little deeper, dive a little deeper, get into it, and then learn the actual names, the actual genres for these, which I had written one down earlier, but then I deleted it, so I cannot
Yeah.
recall what it was.
Fucking pod
It's like
deleting, man.
Bangra or something. Didn't I say that earlier?
No, you said banga, bamboo banga. That's what you were
No,
saying.
I said Bangra. Bangra was another.
No, what? No, what's the song from the first record?
Bangra.
What's the song from the first record? The first song you ever heard?
No, it was Bangra. Bangra is I'm not even gonna go into it, but I definitely did say Bangra. It's a type of like Punjabi traditional folk music with a little bit of
Oh,
pop
okay,
influence.
Okay.
Fucker.
What's so
But
cool
it was
about MIA,
bamboo, whatever. You're right. Go ahead.
what I was gonna say is like MIA is so cool in that she just blends like the coolest, or at least I think the most interesting parts of certain parts of the world with modern Western pop music. Like she's so, I mean, I know it's not just her, it's like Diplo and various other people, but for the most part it is her, you know. It's like, I'd say it's like 75% her, and then everything else is, you know, whoever. But she just has this way of blending these different stylings that would never work. They would never work with anybody else. But I don't know how she does it. I really don't know. It might be the accent. Maybe it's that kind of British accent she has. That really kind of, it makes it maybe more accepting to like Western ears, because we understand that accent more than, you know, most other accents outside of American accents. If that makes sense.
I think it's just because she's all in. I think like
Yeah.
this song, like the nee, that's so fucking annoying. Like
It
that's
is,
shit
but
that
it's
we
so
would
good
tear
with her.
apart. Like if we did, like if Britney Spears did something like that, we would tear it apart.
Or if fucking John Feldman did this with
Oh
like
my
Blink.
god, are you kidding? Oh my, if Blink did nee 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 nees, they do
Dude.
na na nas. They don't do nee nee nee
They
nees.
don't need any knees.
No.
But then you also, Jeff, it's first thought, best thought. So then it's okay.
Oh god, dude. There's just
Dude, if
no
it's
way.
first thought, best thought, it's totally okay. According to Feldy.
It's the fact that she can like jump head first into the deep end. She's all in, and she's lived it. But it's not. It's political, but it's not. It's not being shoved down your throat. It's a little bit more subtle. You can sing Paper Planes like we did throughout our high school senior year, and we can do our finger guns, and it's funny and everything. But then there's
But
still
even-
like a subtlety to it. There's
Paper Planes
a
was
little more
after we
complexity.
graduated high school, though.
No, Paper Planes came out. Well, the album came out like right as we were. It was like early 2005. It was like as we were graduating high
2007.
school. Kala? This album?
Kala came out in 2007. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. August 8th, 2007.
No. Damn, you had that lined up, didn't you?
Well, I just looked back on the main notes in the show notes.
That's something I probably should not have deleted early on. So here
now
we
I'm
are.
guessing myself. But no, yeah, it was recorded in 2006 and 07, and then it was released in August 2007.
I mean, still, like it's something that in our early career as humans, going into the real world,
Yeah.
we had no problem throwing our finger guns up and then the bang 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 parts, and then doing like the give me the money sign with your fingers hitting your palms with your palms up. You know what I mean? I'm doing it right now. Like gimme. But like that's what we do. That's what everybody did to this song.
Mhm.
And then you realize years later that this like she had something to say in that one, but she presented it in a pop fashion. And
yeah, I
that's-
mean,
there's no better way than to get through to Americans than disguise real situations in digestible pop music.
that's true. That's very true.
We eat it up.
Lyrically too, I feel like this is, to me, I got that this is the criticism of the ultra rich and how they make the money off the backs of the poor, who do way more than like the big fat cats at the top, and they're the ones that actually are doing something significant, and they're the ones being taken advantage of, and how we need to kind of like, I mean, it's a pretty common idea. Obviously it's a very common idea, I should say that. But she does it well. She presents it well in this song. But that's just like a general overview of what this is. Like people taking advantage of the lower classes. That's pretty much what the song is lyrically.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
That goes along with what I got.
Okay.
Love
From Sublime,
the-
right?
What
Yeah.
I got. Yeah. No, I thought Rural Town was kind of going along the lines of the Invisible Children thing, because this is like this came out right after Invisible Children really blew up, and
Yeah, like with Thrice and shit.
yeah, and not that it was like a bad thing. I said, yeah,
Oh, it's a
like,
good thing.
"Whoa, Invisible Children is terrible. There
No,
was
not at all.
controversy involved in the Invisible Children and the exploitation of certain viewpoints, but overall, it was a good thing to do. But I think Rural Town is a song that's trying to say, like in the most cliche way, that we all live in the same world. So the problems that one area faces are kind of all of our problems. And then Rural Town is kind of saying the biggest problem is like child soldiers. And
Okay, yeah.
a very not even Western, but a very affluent, a very middle class to upper class mindset is like, damn, I'm glad I don't live in a third world country where I have to worry about child soldiers. I don't live there. I don't have to worry about that. And I think this song is directly saying that it's like it's not saying that it's my fault personally that I'm contributing to it, but it is kind of my problem. And I think Rural Town, because when he's saying like throw your hands up, she's not speaking to like the child soldier. She's thinking like she's speaking to everybody in the entire like face of the earth. Like, yo, we all need to rise up. This is something that is real, that is happening. And it was happening in Uganda, and it was happening in Sri Lanka, and it was happening all over the world. And even still today, people of our generation And Invisible Children was big, and it was a big grassroots movement, but people
Yeah.
still in our generation have no fucking idea
what it actually was.
that
then,
even
like-
happened, that anything
and then
outside
well,
of America even happened.
kind of like piggybacking off what you were saying, like, you know, children going off to war or fighting battles or what, you know what I mean. Piggybacking off that, I mean, when you look at the United States, that's essentially what we do, but we set it up in such a way that it doesn't seem like we're sending children off
Yeah.
to the military. Because I mean, when we
Because
were in
we
high
set
school,
up an
we-
arbitrary number of 18. All of a sudden now
Well,
you're
but it's
18 and you're an adult.
but not only that,
can't
but
drink.
it's also, you know, when we were in high school, I almost joined the Marines when I was a fucking junior in high school. You know, I
Same
was
here.
16, 17 years
Staff
old. And
Sergeant Bofa.
fucking both of these nuts.
Yeah, Bofa
But-
these nuts. That was his real name though. Bofa, not Bofa these nuts, but it was Staff Sergeant Bofa.
But you know what I mean? It's just like you're kind of like groomed once you're like in junior high, I feel, with like the ROTC program and all the other stuff that goes on in middle school and high school. Like you start to be groomed to join the military, and then you can join when you're you can essentially like kind of join when you're 16 and do some sort of like preliminary like boot camps. Or wait what boot camps.
Yeah.
And then by the time you're 18, you know, you go through the main one for what, 5 months, 4 months or whatever. And then you're fucking shipped off to wherever the fuck they want to send you. So it's like, it's not that different here than it is in many parts of the world, like third world countries too. I mean, yeah, they might start them like a year or two younger, but it's veiled very differently than it is elsewhere. And
Well,
it's pretty crazy.
there is a difference though, and the difference is, and much like her song on this album, $20, the difference is in America we're tricked into joining, whereas in other countries we're seeing where people or children are forcefully given an AK and forced to do things that they don't want to do, whereas here there's an illusion of choice and kind of some semblance of choice.
Yeah.
Whereas in other
But
countries, there is no choice.
That is very true. But then it doesn't make either one of those situations better, you know? It's just it almost makes it almost more sinister when you think about how we're kind of led to believe like that's the way to go here in the United States. Like when you like thinking about like with my grandpa who grew up in fucking the mountains of Pennsylvania on a dairy farm with like 12 other siblings. You know, when he was like 16, 17 years old, he thought to himself, I don't want to work on a farm. I have no skills. I can't afford to go to college. This is in the 1950s. So he's like, I'll just enlist because that's what I'm told to do. If I have no skills, if I don't have this or that, and I don't want to stay on the farm, might as well enlist. That's what I'm told to do. That's what he did. That's exactly what he did. That's my other grandpa did the same thing. You know, going into the Korean War, it was the same exact thing. Like my other grandpa grew up in Indiana, like rural Indiana, and he had nothing else going on. So I thought, okay, I'm told to do this. If I don't have this certain skill set, might as well. So you're just groomed into this. And nowadays, I think it's like way more sinister than it was even 20 years ago when we were in high school. But
That all goes along with paper planes, man. Like war and money. Like that's what drives society.
mm-hmm.
You know, that's
fucking wild, man.
It's is it really wild? Like I don't understand. Like I don't think we're the smartest dudes on the face of this
Well, we're definitely
fucking
we're not.
plane.
We like to
of
think
this
we are.
square mile radius, but
We like to think we are, but we're not.
it's crazy how many people on Facebook and Instagram will talk about how much they hate the government and how much they distrust everything, but we'll still do the same thing over and over and over and still blindly follow and still be divided and conquered and still hate their fellow citizen, whereas they're hating the player but not hating the game type of thing. And I don't I don't know. It's sad.
It's sad, and I don't know. We're kind of going down on like a rabbit hole here.
Yeah.
We don't need to go down. But so what was your 3B? What else do you want to talk about? What do you want to do?
No, my 3B was Paper Planes.
Oh, it was okay.
And then my 4B was World Town.
Oh, okay. I mean, we can kind of wrap it up. I mean, we pretty much have a lot of the same stuff. So
I mean, we're really just going to essentially go off onto how much we dislike organized government, how
Yeah.
much we dislike people.
actually, there is one song that I thought was so unique and so specific to a region, and that's I just wanted to. We don't have to talk about it really a lot, but I thought it was interesting. Was Mango Pickle Downriver? This is my 7B, and then when you read more about it,
The Wilcannia Mob.
yeah. So this was like a hip hop group, an Aboriginal hip hop group from Australia, and these kids were like between the ages of like 14 or 12 and 15 or something like that. And there's 4 of them, and they were popular within the region, that part of Australia. And they're Aboriginals. They're Aborigines. Oh, what's the proper term? I don't know. But you get the gist of it. And she had them on this song, or it's essentially their song, but she threw in her own verse into the song,
Yeah.
and then threw it on this album. So I like that a lot too. Like she let them do their thing and then like throw in her little flair just to have it in there. But like it wasn't the centerpiece of the song. It was everything else, and it was such a unique song, and I really liked it. And there's of course the didgeridoo, kind of like
The
playing
didge.
throughout the song. Which I mean, I love the didgeridoo. I'm a sucker for that. That's another instrument I'm a sucker for. So I thought it was just such a unique and cool song, and this kind of just talks about like the way Aboriginal or Aborigines people are treated, not just in Australia, but the Native Americans here in the United States and all that stuff. It's just all these cultures are just kind of slowly being erased or destroyed by genocide or whatever. And it was just a very interesting track on this record, and throwing it pretty much like right in the middle of the album was interesting too. So I thought it was cool. I thought it was a really, really cool song.
Yeah, it was a good like it was a very degaff attitude by Maya to throw this on here because it's kind of bad. It's bad because it's not polished whatsoever.
No,
Their rapping it sounds like it's fucking from a bunch of 12-year-olds.
I know, but it's
But
so
that's-
charming.
Yeah, that's like the good thing about it, is because she layered this entire album with songs kind of in this vein. It made this song even better.
Yep, absolutely. And she really set up. I read too that this is like within the group with the Wilcannia Mob. This is an award-winning single for them. So I don't know what award they won. I mean, we all know awards are kind of stupid anyway. But I mean, I guess it kind of says something that it won an award. But
Oh,
Yeah, it's
now it means something.
yeah, it really doesn't. But I still wanted to throw that in there for the people that like awards. So
And I also want to throw in there too before we're done
mhm.
that God forbid Timbaland help out on a track and not fucking open his mouth. Like, dude, like, do you have to fucking sing on every single thing? And then he also says like the baby girl, like he did on that song "The Way I Are," like
Yeah.
the baby girl.
That's a good song,
It's a great song, but like,
Carrie
dude,
Hilson, so
does
good.
he also have to? Does he always have to fucking open his goddamn mouth to just help produce a song, help write a song? You don't have to fucking sing on it. Shut up.
Even the opening like
Ugh.
the first like 2 seconds of this song sound like the Nelly Furtado song on the record, on the Timbaland record. What is it? It's not Man Eater. What's the other one? That's on
I
there.
don't remember the song, but I do know what it sounds like. and
You
it
know
sounds
exactly what I'm
great.
talking about, right? Like
It's a great
that,
song.
that it's a great song, but like that opening 2 seconds is almost identical to the Nelly Furtado one. And then also it's just so weird that the song Come Around was on the deluxe version of that Timbaland record. What was it, Aftershock or something like that?
Yeah.
And then it ended up being on hers. Like it's so unnecessary. Like why even put it on here? Except for the name. Like I think it was only really done because of the name, and at the time Timbaland was just on fire because of like pretty much because of the Justin Timberlake stuff. Justin Timberlake and the Missy Elliott stuff. He was just like on top of the world at the time, so I guess just throwing his name on her record would give it a lot more hits, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just annoying that he opens his mouth and like she
'Cause
can
the
carry
dude
this
has
out
no
by
flow.
herself. He doesn't.
Yeah,
He just
he has no flow. He's a great producer and a great beat maker, but yeah, other
He's
than
like-
that, he's a terrible rapper.
He's a worse Dr. Dre, is what he is.
Oh
He's,
yeah, way worse.
dude, he's just
Vocally, at least.
Ugh. That's all I
Both
got.
have great beats though. But,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna give our final thoughts, give our rating of the record. So we have a 3-point rating system where 3 is a perfect record, 2 is a good record you're gonna continue to listen to, 1 is a bad record but give it a shot, and 0 is a trash fire. So what are your final thoughts and rating? Go.
My final thoughts were I did not think this week was going to be as electronic as it was. I have, like I said, I've only listened to her last album, the one with Skrillex on it. I forgot what it's called, Matangi. And then I listened to this one.
It's not Matangi, but okay.
It's not Matangi? Oh, no, AIM.
No, it's AIM was the last one.
AIM. Well, it's no.
Matangi
no,
was
it's
actually
AIM.
good.
Is it AIM? No, it's AIM. Okay, thank you. So yeah, I listened to the last one, AIM, because it had Skrillex, and I was super stoked about it. I listened to this album, but it was only to like in the past 5 or 6 years, and then I listened to several songs from her first one, A Ruler. But I did not think this was going to be as diverse. I did not think it was going to be as electronic on a grand scale as it was. And normally I'd be very disappointed and think that this was awful, but I think she pulls it off so damn well. And I'm not a huge techno fan, but her techno stuff is just top notch. Her rapping, when she chooses to actually just jump in and rap, I think is top notch. Her singing, which is very, very rare that she actually sings, I think that's amazing stuff. I think she just, she almost just like fucking rides the fence on everything, to be honest. Like, damn. She's like the you of fucking this genre.
Ah, so the best.
Wow. She really is. Like, she doesn't do anything full throttle. Ew. Gross. I'm like,
It's so good.
I'm kind of put off a little bit.
No,
I'm not gonna
man.
lie. I kind of am.
I'm mad. just like
It's-
purely out of spite, dude. It's so stupid.
Yeah. I give this a 1. No. This is solid. I think like lyrically, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of times where the lyrics are as deep as the music goes. And in being such an electronic driven album, it's still deep. It's still deep in its samples. It's still deep in the way she interpolates those samples. It's still deep in the way she uses certain disco samples mixed with hip hop, which is fucking bizarre. And then also can still hold like solid societal issues and then make people really think. Like I would, no offense to the Sri Lankans, but I don't think I would have ever looked into like the Sri Lankan Civil War the way I did this week had it not been for MIA.
Mm-hmm.
It takes something for me to get into. So, you don't just do it on a whim. You don't wake up, oh, I'm going to look into the Sri Lankan Civil War today. Like, it takes something to get you into it. And MIA did that for me. And I think that's something to be said. And I've learned a lot. And it was a good week. So with all that, I give it a 2.8. This is a solid 2.8 for me. I really enjoyed
That's
this.
high.
Yeah.
I just
2.8.
can't give it a perfect because you're weird, but okay.
Well, it's not a perfect album, but 2.8.
All right. So my final thoughts on this MIA record, Kala. I went into this whole week very almost blind. Like I said, after only hearing Paper Planes and Bucky Gun, those are the only songs I had ever heard. So I did not know what I was expecting. You had kind of like prepped me a little bit saying, you're going to like this. I really know you're going to like this. And I really did. I think this is her best record. And kind of going off what you're saying too, she I wouldn't necessarily say ride the fence, but she knows she does such an amazing job of making her songs so accessible to the point where you can listen to it like in a very kind of background music way and think, okay, this is a really nice beat. This is a really cool beat. I like this and that. And you could think of like the lyrics as like, this is like a party thing. This is like very kind of, you look at it very face value, or you can look at it as, you know, oh, these lyrics actually mean something. Like she almost makes them almost ambiguous enough to where you can come up with your own things, but then you can follow along with the story if you choose to, but you don't have to. Like you don't feel like you need to do either one of those things. You could just enjoy it in passing, or you can really dive deep. And I feel like that's the genius of this record, and really of her. I'd say, I mean, I don't know much about it, anything outside of this, but I'd say kind of maybe her first record too, a little bit of what I read about it. So she just had this she has this really great way of writing music and songs, and just her whole background is just so interesting, and where she came from, her being an immigrant, it's just so unique, just so unique. So that being said, I mean, we've talked about it for so long already. I'm gonna have to give this record 2.75. This is almost perfect. It's almost perfect, but
Could give it a 2.8
then you have
so we can
songs
match
like-
up. That's fine.
Nah, I don't want to do that. That's no fun. Matching up, no fun. Unless it was a perfect 3, but it's not. So yeah, because of songs like "Come Around," like that kind of kills it for me. Maybe if that wasn't on there and I never ever heard it, I might give this a 3.
Okay.
But
okay.
regardless, this is a great record, and I thought what was interesting too. This record pretty much gets like perfect ratings across the board. Like this is a really
I think that's just
very
from
popular,
cuck reviewers too,
well-received
though.
record, which is still high, you know,
It
considering
is,
what
yeah. I mean, we give it
considering,
high
like, the
marks,
stylings of it. Yeah,
but it's not
And
perfect.
it's not perfect. No.
But cuck reviewers give it perfect ratings because I think of her. Because I think she's a woman, because I think they think like, oh, let's just fucking give her perfect reviews because that's going to help our ratings. But it's not a perfect record. The Timbaland song sucks.
But everything else is so fucking good. It's so good.
It is.
So
But it's not perfect.
It's close though. So I mean, that's all I got. I'm pretty sure that's all you got too on this record, and MIA in general. So thank you all for listening. Go to Apple Podcasts, go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. And once again, thank you all for listening. Tell all your friends about us, and spread the word. So that's it. That's all.
Well, I didn't even buy that one from Clouds Hill.
Yeah, 'cause you're an
Completely omitted that one. Not
you're
worth
dumb.
it.
You're dumb. That's dumb. That's stupid. You're
Well,
dumb. That's so
Okay.
dumb.
Dude, are you... What is
Can't
going
burp.
on over there?
We can't burp.
You can't even talk. You can't even breathe.
I know. My people in Aqua, they put out a new song. Apparently it's a cover. I don't know who did the original. I don't remember, but it's called "I Am What I Am." This is almost as bad as "It Is What It Is." I hate it. I hate the title.
Like,
Yeah, it's
and
very industrial though too.
And I thought that she would hate this because she has a song that's just called "It Is What It Is."
Yeah, I saw that, and I hated that. So, Tom DeLonge is God.
Okay, all right. I mean, I'm willing to get behind that.